Yes, Mataji. You can repeat your question if you want.
The question was that it was written that we should not commit an offense against the holy name of Lord by discussing it in front of the ones who are not interested in listening to it. So
Hare Krishna.
if someone does it with a good intent, like with a pure heart, then do we have to bear the consequences of even that?
Hare Krishna. So the question is something like this, that the ninth offense is to preach the glories of the holy name of the Lord to a faithless person who is not interested in hearing them. So there are two aspects to it. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Updesh. So in a way, it is negating the obligation for every Vaishnava to preach and spread Krishna consciousness to uninitiated and ignorant and maybe even blasphemous views of Krishna. So should we leave them, the ignorant and blasphemous sinners, or try to change them positively? And if you are trying to preach them, is it not that we are committing a sin to the holy name? And will we have to have the effects of this? So let us understand, Mataji, from basics, that actually there is no point in preaching to a person who is not even a bit submissive or even little bit interested in hearing what we have to say. So when we speak of preaching, then preaching means to find the right person to preach to. You have to avoid envious and demons. And what we have to do is we have to preach to the innocent. Because it is actually an offense if you preach to faithless persons. Because that sort of preaching will have bad effect. For example, an atheist, he does not believe in God. So if you go and tell him to please surrender to Krishna, he'll get angry. He'll become blasphemous and a bigger offense. So practically, there is a difference between an ignorant person and a faithless person. So we need not ignore the ignorant. And practically everyone is ignorant about Krishna Bhakti. But then we need to differentiate between those who are envious, those who are innocent, and those who are devotees. We have to avoid the envious at all cost. We have to preach the innocent and we have to associate with the devotees. In fact, we should always be searching for association of devotees who are more advanced than us. Then this is what we talk about the Madhyamadikari platform. When we come to the Krishna Bhakti, we are Kanishta Adhikari. And that is a dangerous position because a Kanishta will not be able to tell a difference between who is envious, who is innocent, and who is a devotee. So we don't know whom to preach to, whom to say something, whom to avoid, or whom to associate with. And if we start preaching to wrong person, then it is offensive. If we start associating with wrong person, then we are destroying our spiritual advancement. And then we see some stories where people accept someone who is not a pure devotee of Krishna as guru. And then that's a big problem for the spiritual. So the idea is really preaching is for Madhyam Adhikaris. We should not remain on the Kanishta platform. We have to advance to the Madhyam Adhikari platform. Then maybe we can preach because we'll understand whom to preach to, whom to avoid, and whom to associate with. See, expert devotees can preach to anyone. Like we are seeing the story of Gaur Katha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has shown his by his activity. In fact, he was so concerned about engaging Mayavadis and impersonalists, he was making plans how they can be swept in the ocean of love of Godhead. And he had started giving this love to his Sankirtan movement. So, but yes, what we can do is instead of directly talking about the name, there are other ways of preaching to the envious. Like We can chant Hare Krishna in Sankirtan on the streets, and maybe the envious people will hear, they may get little upset. But if it is done by Shuddha Bhaktas, the Kirtan will be so powerful that it will touch their hearts. Now, it's up to us whether we can do it or not. Second way could be we start distributing Krishna Prasadam. And then by Krishna Prasad, they will get Krishna's mercy. And then that will start acting on its own. Or third way could be that we sell them one of Prabhupada's books. So when we sell Prabhupada's books to them, they'll give their hard-earned money for the book, and that will act as Ajnata Sukruti. So they're giving some contribution to help Krishna consciousness movement spreading. So it will purify them. And that will be their qualification then to read and understand the book. And by associating with Srila Prabhupada and Krishna through book, they'll be purified. We should definitely not be jumping up and down in front of envious person and demand, oh, you surrender to Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. Preaching philosophy can only be done to the innocent, sincere people. And there are many people who are innocent. So if you start talking to them about Krishna, they will like to hear it. But for some people, if you mention God, they will get angry. So there is no point in arguing with them, Mataji. It will have bad results. So it's just give them some rasgulla or iskon bullet, that is gulab jamun, and move on to the next person. So we have to be careful, because it's not that we are committing an offense to the holy name only. We are also committing an offense directly to Krishna, because that person is going to keep on doing more offenses. So it is very, very, very risky affair as long as we are not become Shuddha Bhakta. So at our stage, our duty is to chant and get as many people as possible to listen to those who are already doing Shuddha Bhakti. Make them join as many temple preaching programs as possible, temple programs, let them listen to videos, let them listen to kirtans. And once their heart gets purified, then we tell them about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is how we have to work, Mataji. Otherwise, that offense is there, but then there is a solution to the offense as well, because by preaching, we burn up the effects of our offenses. Because what happens is, by helping others to be Krishna conscious, we attract the mercy of Krishna. And it is said that it is attracted in very quick manner. And then we can advance very quickly. And those who get liberated, they will also get a special rasa when they go out to preach. And that is what Lord wants. So we have to do it. But then we have to do it very carefully. That is what this whole offense is and how to handle it, Mataji. Hare Krishna.